In the under-19s, Richmond had a convincing 62-point win, 16-16 to Melbourne's 7-8. So the Tigers go into the grand final of the under-19s, where they'll meet North Melbourne next week. That should be a great game.
He's just that yard too slow, Mark Buckley. I know he hasn't played much football this year, and he's a little bit short on as far as match practice is concerned, but he does run on his heels. He tries to break up packs, but you've got to go through a pack with a little bit of momentum, which he hasn't got.
Well, when you get up in the seniors, Don, as you'd well know, that's where you get caught in possession with the ball a lot. The road to Hunt. Taken away by Honey, but he's got a lot of time, in fact too much time as far as Collingwood is concerned. Down towards Mackenzie, up he goes, and that's about the first mark he's dropped all day. Warren Mackenzie's kick 6.
But you see the advantage of playing in front of the younger people who just tuned in, watching. If you're in front, you're able to turn quickly and get back onto the ball, which he did. Admittedly, it went out of bounds, but he was there.
He's doing the ruck work against McLean. He used his feet there, McLean, as we see Alvin get in the hand pass. It's kicked off the ground by Miles towards the half-back line. Robertson, a short pass, and a chipping in is Jamie Turner, who was knocked out last week. Off the two, he's had a touch of the fumbles. Ralph goes in underneath the ball, hooks it out. Taken away, though, by Neil Connell, an ex-captain of the under-19s at Collingwood. Over to Sandy Hislop. Gee, is he trying hard. Goes for the hand pass to Mark Beers, who's not handling the ball well today. And, oh, gee, that's not good players. Mike Smith comes away with the football now for Carlton. The short pass has been made across the ground. And Andrew Graham, has he been paid the mark? No, said the umpire, but he gets up and gets in the hand pass to Ralph. Oh, cleverly done, Warren Ralph. Onto the left foot, hooks it back towards full forward, where the mark is taken down there by Neil Connell.
15 metres. Connell back towards the half-back flank. Oh, Gagan got up high for Carlton, unable to complete the mark. Knight taps it out wide. Back with Gagan again. He gets the handball into Graham. Chips it over his shoulder, but again badly directed. And Dixon is there to take the mark. Going deep in towards the centre. Kenny got up high, but couldn't take the mark. A long handball from Dawkin goes up towards the half-forward line. Danny Siao is beaten for it on this occasion. And again, coming away is Peter Kenny. Well, Nixon was the interchange player. Rick Nixon wearing 48. Now Kennedy puts it wide. Knight, a problem picking it up. Kennedy's still going, looks for the free kick, doesn't come his way. And it looked as though it went out, but no, Warren Ralph kept it in momentarily. Now a throw-in to take place. 72 plays 24.
Just in that passage of play, I realised that Carlton are Collingwood are a long way behind, but some of their players just don't seem interested.
Dixon.
Big rap.
Plenty of pressure on them, that's for sure. Over the line once again.
I think that's the big difference, Sandy. What you said is the pressure of today has been a lot different to the games that Collingwood have experienced. They haven't been put under any pressure whatsoever in the reserves or the seniors, and I think that's a difference the Magpies are going to find in both games today, because Carlton are a much better side today with those senior players back in.
Well, as we watch them, we might just take the opportunity of going down to the boundary line and having a chat with a man who I know would dearly love to be out there this afternoon. Not Stephen Phillips, although he might like to be. Steve?
Thank you, Sandy. With me I've got Paul Salmon. And Paul, I suppose, I read in the paper this morning that you've been playing every game from the seat in the grandstand. I guess you'd love to be out there this afternoon.
I definitely would, Steve. It's just one of those days, that time of year, that any player that might have had a chance of being playing gets itchy feet, and sitting out the stands, you sort of go through the game as it runs. And it's one of those things.
The operation, some months old now. How have you pulled up?
Well, so far really good, but they couldn't be happy with the specialists. So if it runs this smoothly for the next 9 months, I'll be pretty happy.
I noticed as we walk down here from the Essendon rooms, you're still a bit stiff in the leg. Is it beginning to loosen up a little?
It is. The major problem being that I had it in a bent cast, and being operated on and operated so tightly, the major problem being I've got to get it straightened out, and they said it will be 2 to 3 months before I can do that anyway.
I suppose one of the good things about the operation, or if there is a good thing, is they've said to you not to set yourself any target.
No, that's correct. They say that those bigger blokes are a bit slower in everything, and especially in recovery, bigger bones and that sort of thing, but they don't want me to aim at anything because they just want me to work towards the full recovery, and I'll just come back when it's 100%.
Well, Paul, I guess if you're playing this afternoon, there'll be an extra 10,000 here to see this game, because you've really put a lot into footy in '84. We look forward to seeing you back in action, and we'll go back upstairs to Sandy and Don Scott and another old goal kicker, Peter McKenna.
All right, thank you very much, Steve. And Collingwood through his lot, the opportunity of going forward, but a great tackle. Down goes Hartney on top of the football, comes out, gets the handball to Alvin. The Blues holding sway at the moment as he goes wider to Neil Gagan. Gagan steadies on centre wing, up towards the half-forward line. Kennedy, the target, can't trap it with the one hand, and the ball goes over the line for another throw-in.
Yes, and Paul Salmon, I think everyone would have a lot of sympathy for Paul. He'd love to be out there. What a great start to the year, and he was a real superstar. Let's hope he can come back from that knee injury, and he's a tremendous type of guy too.
Yes.
Standing, good head on his shoulders. There's McKenzie playing well in this quarter, doing some good tackling, beaten for that one by McLean. A hurried snap comes down towards the forward pocket, charging out after Scott Knight held the ball too long. No, it's not Russell Dixon, it's Glenn Hunt, in fact, was the player on screen, number 63, forcing the ball to the boundary line.
Full credit to the Carlton forwards. I complimented them earlier before half-time, halfway through the second quarter, the way they're working down there. They just want to keep the ball in the forward line.
Punched away by Neil Connell, straight over the line, out of bounds. Now, at the moment, there is a lot of tackling going on and not any really constructive football. It hasn't been a great quarter as far as skill goes, but as Don mentioned, we're talking about the smothering and the tackling and that, and they're keeping control in their forward line. Carlton?
Well, we played just over 8 minutes for one behind, Pete.
Yes, and it's not pretty football to watch, but still, Carlton have got that decisive lead, 10-13 to 3-6. Collingwood making no impression at the moment as we see McLean punch the ball away towards the half-back line. Collins looking further afield to Tony Kelly. Oh, well done. He ducked the head down and went in hard after the football. Still got it. And the umpire has elected to come in and bounce the ball on half-forward flank for Carlton.
And Fatui Atata receiving some medical attention behind the play. Hasn't been Fatui's day. Still, he's certainly performed well in the weeks leading up. Only been beaten on that occasion. Kelly, not free kicked. Pushed out in front of Gagan. Shrugs one tackle, gets the handball out. The hurried kick by Smith finds Peter Rode. Not Rode, it is
Williams.
Mark Williams.
They look alike, Sandy, those
Don't
two.
they? My word, and move in very similar fashion. Knight gets a touch and goes over the line, so another throw-in to take place. Crowd really starting to build up. What would you say it is at the moment, Pete? 50?
Well, I'd say 50,000, I suppose, but the ground doesn't hold any more than, what, 75,000?
75.
So, and all the tickets were sold as the ball is put through there for a behind. But 10-14 to 3-6, Carlton in front. But, well, this ground, since they've resurfaced the ground and put some more sandy soil there, and the drainage has all been unblocked, this year, even on the wet days, it has been in magnificent condition. And once again, we find the ground in perfect condition. That was Mark Beers kicking the ball up towards the half-back line, I should say, getting it across to Jeffrey Southey. He's a long way out. The goal was a lovely hand pass from Buckley. Smith comes away with the football to Alvin. Alvin's on centre wing, goes for the short pass further afield, a shocking kick. Dalkin takes it for Collingwood, gets it further afield to Jamie Turner. Turner comes through the centre. Now this looks better for the Magpies. Up to Russell Dixon, who marks on half-forward. This is the really first semblance of really good team play in this quarter by the Magpies. Dixon kicks it quickly, looking for Jimmy McAllister. He ducks back. Scott Howe was there and he takes it to the boundary line. They're far too strong in defence for the Collingwood side.
So a throw in Collingwood's right forward pocket. They want goals and want them fast into the 11th minute of this third term. Malcolm in front. Woodall.
Loves a snap.
Oh, they're the ones he loves, but I'm afraid that one's come totally unstuck, out of bounds on the full, and Brendan Hartney will bring it back into play. Yes, all sold out for today and all sold out for next week in the grand final at the MCG. Over the top of Mick Kennedy, back to Peter Kenny. Wobbles it up towards centre wing where Peter Dean takes the mark, scoots around Hunt and puts in a beautiful pass in towards centre wing area. Peter Rode receives, goes up towards the half forward line. Buckley, and we'll see it go over the line and another throw in to take place. Carlton maintaining control of this game. A 50-point break, and Collingwood don't look like cutting that down at all. 11.5 minutes played. Third term. There's the throw in again. The players shielding their eyes from the sun. That's how this weather changes. Peter Rode picked up a ton of kicks. That one goes into the pocket and then veers off with a vicious leg break. 12 kicks to Peter Rode to this stage.
Or 1 ton.
Thanks, Pete.
A ton of kicks.
Comments there from Peter McKenna on the throw in, and He's picked out a free kick that's going to go the way of Carlton. So the Blues have the opportunity of posting yet another one and going further ahead. The young boy was tackled too high, Mick Kennedy, and let's see what he can do.
Well, we've had the equivalent of, what, 4.5 inches of rain?
Yes, 112 millimetres,
this week, and, well, the ground is getting better all the time with a slight breeze, and there's the kick from Kennedy offline and through for a behind. The ground's getting better every minute because
well,
sun's shining, and of course
now, isn't it? I mean, players are not slipping.
Not a patch of mud on the ground, so after 4.5 inches of rain, that's great. There's Fatui Atata, bringing it from full-back, or nearly a mark to the Magpies there by young Collins. There's Alvin, a beautiful hand pass to Mike Smith. He lines up the goals, he fires, and he's put it through for a goal.
Great play then by the Blues. Started by Tommy Alvin, who gave it to Mike Smith, and there are the two boys that did the damage. So the 11th goes on the board for the Blues.
That was tremendous play by Tommy Alvin. He's got tremendous courage, that fellow. I just wish that he could pick up a yard, because I'm an admirer of this young fellow. The way he just puts his body in. He's very quick with the hands. Shot it across to Mike Smith, and Mike Smith, being a Western Australian, is a very skilled player.
3-6 plays 11-15. Centre bounce once again. Won by McLean, but they can't get it out of the centre as Kennedy's kick goes short towards the wing. Tony Kelly, the opportunity for Collingwood. Was he held? Well, the umpire says play on, and he persists. Well done. To the half-forward line. Fisted away towards Andrew Graham. Picks it up now. Thinks about the handball to Hartney, but then elects to go wider towards Ricky Nixon, who takes a good falling mark.
Done some nice things too, Nixon, since he came on, replacing Malin to Kennedy. Now, Kennedy handballs backwards to Hartney, but that was good play because it created the loose man. He goes wide. Hunt was in front. Over the back. Here's Peter Rode. Oh, he's got a bit of pace. Rode as he sprints to half forward. Centres the ball to the goal square. This could be a goal. Beautiful goal. Kicked by Peter Rode from the half forward flank.
It's great play by Peter Rode with his 13th kick, posting Carlton's 12th goal. 12-15, a thumping Collingwood 3-6.
Well, that was a magnificent kick by Rode. We'll see it on replay here. Well contested by Dean, but Rode running into the open space. You really can't see on there how much space he did put between he and his opponent, but it was a very good kick on the, well, the right foot on that right-hand boundary.
Back to the centre, there's Glenn McLean, 3-6 Collingwood, Carlton 12-15. This is a real hiding. The poor old Magpies are copping here. Jeffrey Southby a long way out from defence, probably playing now on the half-back line. Rode again down towards the half-forward line. Scott Knight did the right thing there on Ralph, ran straight at the football and kept control of the ball.
There is no substitute, Peter, for putting your body in, and you noticed how Southby just put his body in there. Carlton got the ball out of the centre. Across to Rode, who made it look good, and then back in the
no skill involved in that play by Southby.
Why have you always got to bring up? Well, of course there is. There's skill in going after the ball. You always try to make it, you're going in for the ball, it's just blood and guts. It is not. There is a skill required. You've got to be able to put your body over the ball and hold your position.
12-15 Carlton to Collingwood 3 goals 6. I'd just like you to mention skill for once gone instead of the
I mentioned skill the whole time. You're the one who mentions brawn.
There's Hunt getting it towards the half-back line. Now Smith has picked it up. He's a lovely kick normally, Mike Smith. He swings onto the left foot and he kicks it towards half-forward. And that is a good, strong mark at half-back by Neil Connell. A beautiful mark.
No one on the mark, so off he pounces. Out wide towards the wing. Now the whistle has sounded.
Umpire.
And he's saying, all right, we'll give you another kick. So Chris Dalkin, who's at centre wing, has possession. Kicks to a fairly congested half-forward line. Howell coming in from the side. Is it Nixon? No, it's McKenzie.
Oh, he's doing it at both ends now.
Yep. Swung down into defence and taking a great mark. Back towards centre wing. Some pushing and shoving going on there. That'll be 15 metres. Really, Collingwood should worry about getting something on the scoreboard than doing things like that, because Peter Dean has the opportunity of sending the Blues deep into attack. Pretty generous with his 15 metres. There's the pass to Ralph. Oh, didn't quite hold it long enough. Then finished up coming off his boot. Out wide towards Graham. Caught and beautifully tackled. And he loses it.
Poor Mark Lawson, boy, when he tackles him, does he tackle, and there he is on screen. He's a ferocious tackler towards the half-back line where the mark has been taken by Danny Siao. He gets it to Russell Dixon. Two young players there for the Magpies, combining up to Shane Malcolm. He can't take the mark. Hartley tackled beautifully. Malcolm too slow to get rid of it on that occasion. Southby, a beautiful shepherd, allows Scott Howe to come through over to Neil Gagan. He's on half-back as he kicks it on the left foot. He's looking down there for Andrew Graham. Use of the body there was very good. McLean back to Hunt. Hunt towards centre wing. Russell Dixon can't take the mark. Plays on though. Grabbed when he didn't have the football. Now in the umpire's playing the advantages. He kicks it on the left foot up to Woodall. Woodall up in front. Can't take it. Beautiful play. Darren Collins runs in the open goal. Too slow. Holding the ball. It could have been off the ground by Dalton. And he's put it through for a behind. But young Collins thought he had a bit more pace than he did there as he
Full credit to
should have
Williams.
kicked it.
Gee, what a tackle.
I think he still thought he was in the under-19s. He probably would have got away with that in the under-19s, but now it's a little bit quicker and you've got to get your foot on the ball a little sooner than what he did.
Williams still going with a long kick out towards centre wing. Hislop gets a bad bounce initially, tried to affect the handball, but it's come unstuck as Ricky Nixon picks it up, goes up towards the half-forward line for Carlton, towards Kennedy, playing in front. With him also is Peter Dean. Dean scouts, goes goalwards with a long kick. Where's Fatui? Watches it sail over the top, and Carlton are doing it with absolute ease.
That was a great goal, that one.
Well, actually, that was a great goal, Peter. You just mentioned it. The whole build-up, Carlton just can't do anything wrong. We saw that fantastic tackle by Williams down one end. The Carlton team are just playing inspired football. And we see it on replay here. We just missed Peter Dean right on that right boundary, hard on it with his right foot, and kicked truly. Similar kick to Rhodes earlier, but that was a little bit harder by Peter Dean.
The scoreboard taking on embarrassing proportions for Collingwood. 13-15 to a miserable 3-7. And those 3 goals scored in 1 quarter of football. Southby repels again to the half-forward line. Look at them. They're running in a line. Here goes Dean again. He says, this time I'll put out the pass. Fatui was in front that time, but he couldn't take the mark. The handball comes back to Dean. He snaps with his left foot this time, going in towards the square. Buckley arrives too late, however. And we will see a free kick going the way, or take the mark anyway, but Sandy Hislop. He's been at one of the few tries for Collingwood all day. Honeybun. Robertson taps it down towards Kennedy. Back it goes to Honeybun. The big fella goes into half forward, and badly directed as Scott Knight nips in to take.
You wouldn't believe this is the same team we've watched in the past 2 weeks with, well, not admiration, but they've played extremely well, haven't they, Peter?
Well, the side's not all that much different either, and I agree with you. And Carlton, of course, well, they have had some very, very good players injected into this side with Alvin and
last week this Collingwood
Dean
side defeated Hawthorn by 14 goals.
And Hawthorn on paper looked the better side if you had have lined them up man for man. Here's Mick Kennedy now having in a pot shot at goal. He fires but is offline for one.
I think they would have beaten Fitzroy in their earlier game by about the same margin, Sandy.
I can tell you that now, Donald. Yes, in fact it wasn't quite as much as that, but they beat them by 8 goals.
There's the time clock, 20.5 minutes gone in the third quarter, 3-7 to 13-16. As
that's unbelievable.
Fatui played on there to McLean, to Hunt. Hunt, oh, too slow, just gets the kick in towards centre wing. It's taken out there by Neil Connell as he runs towards half forward. He's looking up there for Danny Siao. He props himself in front of the pack and takes a good mark. But Danny's been quiet today. Not that the ball's been on the forward line all that much. He kicks straight to Peter Rode. Rode comes away with a football, a long torpedo punt up towards half forward. Mark Buckley couldn't take the mark. Back it comes towards Jeffrey Miles. He kicks it towards half forward. Gagan from behind. Goes the punch. Could have been a free kick to Collingwood for holding the man. The umpire picked that one up, and it's who is it? In fact, it's number 60 now on the ground. Rowan Mickelson is on the ground for Collingwood. He's on half-forward flank after receiving that 15-metre penalty. He kicks it towards half-forward. Scott Howe from behind, but he allows Mark Williams to come away. His teammate with the ball on the left foot. He goes for the short one down towards Peter Dean. He overruns the ball. Glenn McLean picks it up and goes for the kick towards half-forward. Honeybun flies. No mark. Coming away with the football is Shane Robertson. He kicks it towards centre wing. Now it's Connell for Collingwood. Gets a hurry kick in up towards Mickelson, but it's Gagan charging in after it. Scrambly passage of play. It hasn't been a high standard quarter as far as the skills of the game are concerned. And Carlton have this game at the moment well in control. 13-16 to Collingwood 3-7.
Yes, Carlton in this term have added 3 goals for. Collingwood have managed just 1 behind. And we're only 3 minutes away or so from entering time on. So it'll give you an idea of just how much Carlton has dominated proceedings. Shane Robertson in trouble, can't get it in a kick away. And the umpire will come in and have a bounce. Repeating the under-19 score, a 62-point win to Richmond. So they'll now meet North Melbourne in the grand final. Richmond 16-16, Melbourne 7-8.
Centre wing area, as we see Honeybun number 3 for Carlton against Glenn McLean, number 18 for Collingwood. There's McLean getting it out of the pack. Andrew Graham runs into all sorts of trouble. The umpire sensibly calls play on. Oh, there's a good hip and shoulder bump by Brendan Hartley.
You don't see too many of those, do you?
No, you often see the elbow go up, Don, but you don't see the true hip and shoulder stuff.
If
There
one
he
does
is.
happen, usually the umpire awards a free kick to the aggressor.
Well, that was Brendan Hartley on screen there, number 24. Played a terrific team game there. He's leading that defence. Well, he and Southby, there was a good tackle. A bit of a sudden death one, though. A bit unlucky, I thought, the Collingwood player there. He didn't have a good chance of getting rid of it, as we see Nixon kicking towards half forward. Mark Buckley too slow to get there. Leading him in the race is Jeff Miles. Cleverly done, Miles. Goes for the hand pass. Some good shepherding went on there as Hunt comes through with the football. A hand pass to the centre of the ground. This is Tony Kelly sprinting away with the ball. Goes for the hand pass to Jamie Turner. He goes for home up towards full forward. Mark Buckley ducks back. Goes for the punch. Southby and Howler there to lend a hand. Jeffrey Southby kicks a low one out towards the half-back line. Ricky Nixon's played well since coming on the ground. Back to Southby. He kicks it towards 2 Carlton players, and Shane Robertson ducks back and takes the mark.
Plays on straight away with a left foot kick up towards centre wing. Buckley the flyer in front, unable to take the mark. Kennedy waiting down. Looks for a push in the back. It doesn't happen. The umpire calls play on. Tommy Alvin comes in over the top now. He can't take it away. Still the umpire lets it go as Peter Rode goes to ground. And this time it'll be Rode on the end of a free
Played
kick.
well again.
Oh, he's played extremely well today and must certainly be in contention for Don's $100. Be interesting to see who he gives it to today.
Well, I don't know whether he's head-butted anyone yet.
Oh, you are a
Sorry.
clown. You are a clown. That man was right. Oh, God.
Oh, for 2 he flew there, but over the back of the pack. This is Mickelson running towards the goals, or he's trying to get it away from the goals. In fact, Warren Ralph. Oh, great speed by Warren Ralph. A long hand pass brings it back towards Mike Smith.
Caught.
Oh, he was caught into the back of him. No, that was a very undisciplined tackle by Jamie Turner. He can't argue about that one because that was a very, very poor tackle. Mike Smith, number 26 on screen.
Collingwood have
kicked
just
one
made a
goal.
change too. Peter Malcolm off and
Oh, I have never seen in my life anyone miss the goals by so much. That went out of bounds on the full, 20 metres around from the behind post.
Herbert on them. Carl Herbert.
oh, thank you from Maine, Sandy.
Back into play once again. McLean in front. Honeybun comes over the top. Oh, Carlton seem to have the players waiting down though, ready to pounce. And because they're in front, they're getting the free kicks. Mike Smith goes short, and stupidly short on that occasion, because Henry is there to cut it off. He goes in towards the centre of the ground, and Mark Beers takes the mark. Well, Mark's been having his share of problems today. No mark is paid to Southby, but he again has plenty of backup support as Gagan puts it out towards centre wing, and the mark, and an easy mark too, taken there by Mick Kennedy. Carlton are in total control. 94 playing 25. Buckley should be free kick.
Oh, I didn't pay that.
Well, the umpire's
Can you believe that?
Yes, I
obviously
can.
got a problem. Graham, he won't be free kicked either because he was pushed in the back. Scott Knight's kick is a shocker, and this should be another goal for Carlton from Alvin as he receives the handball, and Carlton go on their merry way.
Well, I hope we see this on replay because there was tremendous work by Warren Ralph. Now, Warren Ralph hasn't been noted for the fact that he really doesn't work off the ball, but we'll see here a tremendous smother by Ralph, not off the boot. The ball was actually in flight when he stopped that, and credit to Ralph, and I hope he can get this into his game when he becomes a senior player, to work when he hasn't got the ball.
14-16-100. Carlton to Collingwood, 3 goals, 7-25. And the coach of the Magpies, Lee Adamson, would not be happy with this performance today. And
Alvin's hurt.
Tommy, where is he?
He's all right. He's pretty tough.
He's all right, Tommy. Back to this, and there he is, Tom Alvin with the long hair and one sock down, and he's hurt his shoulder by the looks of it. He is a pretty tough player. He'll go down and have a bit of a breather, I would think. Centre of the ground, Mark Lawson tries to crash his way through the pack. Brilliantly done, Peter Road. He can play football, this bloke. Runs away to centre wing and goes for the long kick towards the pocket. The lead has been made by Warren McKenzie. He's kicked 6 goals, all in the first half. Now, he's got an open goal if he wants to kick it straight away.
What do you suggest you do? Run around the man on the mark?
I suggest you run back and kick it quickly in case you don't make the distance and the ball can run through the goals, Don. But a big ruckman wouldn't think of that. There's the kick from McKenzie. And instead, what's he done? He's put it out of bounds on the full.
So the ball just stops dead in that hole, does it?
Don, you would have to be a forward to appreciate that.
We haven't seen any leads today either. We've got the dummies, the semi-dummies.
No, I've been looking for the dummy lead today from the full forwards, and they haven't been doing it. We'll have to get Brian Wilson from Melbourne back in. Of course, he'll be playing next week in the grand final. Brian Wilson kicked 10 goals last week for Melbourne Reserves as the kick now comes up towards the half-back line. No mark. There's a long hand pass by Mike Smith to Neil Gagan. Can't get the bounce of the ball. Mark Beers is there, but there's the siren to end a pretty disappointing third quarter. Carlton with the game well in hand at the moment. 14 goals, 16-100 to Collingwood, 3-7-25.
Foster, the great coach in South Australia, is watching with his family. We certainly wish them well as well. We're away in the final term, and I just wonder, gentlemen, what Collingwood can do to put some form of respectability on the scoreboard.
Well, they can do anything, Sandy, because to add a point in a quarter is a very pitiful performance. They can only improve.
Well, it's on the half-forward line, pushed out wide in front of Gagan. Intercepting is Mickelson. Has it now for Collingwood. Just goes with a short handball and beats Henry Lawson over the line for another throw. 100 plays 25. 3 is Honeybun. 54 Stiao. The Carlton defence have been so strong. Mick Kennedy picks it up. Kick goes astray on that occasion and back to Mickelson again. To the half-forward line, down towards full forward. Williams was in front, socket off the ground, picked up by Kenny, gets the handball away, and the Blues are out of trouble through Gagan. So Gagan's kick goes to the half-back line, only to see Collingwood in possession once again. Down in the forward pocket, Dalkin is there, but I think the ball had gone over the line on the second attempt, and that perhaps shows the frustration. In fact, he's lost it because he threw it into the crowd stupidly.
It's undisciplined, isn't it?
Oh, well,
that is undisciplined play.
Would you take a player off for that?
I'd rip him off.
Would you? Up towards centre wing, punched away by McLean. Not a good day for the Magpie Reserves. We see Alvin going up towards half forward. Mark Buckley over the back, easy as you like. Comes away with a football to Warren Ralph, and Ralph marks on half forward flank. He's playing a long way out from goal. He's allowing McKenzie to take the marks up there. Though. Mark Buckley had sneaked up to the forward pocket, easy as you like, and from 25 to 30 metres out on a very acute angle, Mark Buckley will have a shot for goal. He has not scored a goal today. Warren McKenzie up there in the goal square has kicked 6. Warren Ralph has kicked 2. Peter Dean's kicked 2. For Collingwood, Dale Woodhall has kicked 2. But
I tell you what, Pete, I'd love to know in the history books, in these conditions, and I can't see Collingwood kicking a bag of goals this term, as another one goes on the board for Carlton. This would have to be one of the lowest scores in a preliminary final ever.
Particularly under the conditions of the day, you would imagine a score like that maybe on a boggy track, but the conditions are perfect out there. It's not a good performance, but I hope the seniors play a little bit better than this.
Well, it just shows the dominance that Carlton have had on the game. Peter, everything that Carlton have done, they've run to get the position, they've been given the ball, they've smothered well. Everything has just reaped a reward.
Very disciplined. Colin Kinnear must take a lot of credit for that. He's the coach. Half forward. Now, this is Neil Connell taking the mark. He's battled hard. He really has put in, as we see on the left foot, Jeff Miles going down towards centre wing. There's a sign of discipline again. That was Peter Road punching the ball away when he was out of position. Players going after it. Jamie Turner's there having a wrestle with Tommy Alvin. Now, this might be Collingwood's go here, Don.
Well, they can't win anything else, and I would doubt if Tommy Alvin's down there, they'll win that either.
Oh, gee, it's on again, be on the side of the pack this time. Players form. Andrew Graham was in there, but nothing too serious. A lot of pushing and shoving, that's about all.
Yes. I don't think Collingwood need worry about that.
It's amazing how there's often a fight, when one side's about 12 goals in front of the other.
Well, would it be just frustration, Don?
Probably.
Yes, it would be, I suppose, Sandy, but
Turner to half forward. Xiao trying to affect the spoil. Lawson, well tackled. They just got a fit of the fumbles today, and here comes Tommy. He gets caught, tried to throw it out. Dixon picks it up, goes high in the air, gathering little distance, and well spoiled by Scott Howell, who came over the top to fist it away. Messy passage of football.
It is messy, Sandy, but you've got to appreciate that Carlton are putting unbelievable pressure. You can see the way Dixon just skied the ball there in the air. Lawson broke away from that pack, tried to get away, but it was a tremendous tackle by the Carlton backmen, and that's attributable to the fact that they are tackling well, the Carlton team.
Scott Howell from centre half back kicks it out wide. The only player there is Sandy Hislop as he charges after it towards the boundary line. He gets a favourable bounce. Onto the left foot he goes. He's really tried hard, the young fella today, up towards half forward. That was a beautiful mark. It's taken by the young player from East Reservoir in Darren Collins. He's offset the umpire. He kicks it towards full forward. Dale Woodall from behind flies, but coming over the back was number 40 Peter Kenny, I should say, who was recruited to Carlton this year from Manica, I think it was, in the ACT.
Yes, quite right. 25 years of age.
Hand pass. Comes back towards, now this is Rode. He's been an outstanding player today, Peter Rode. Breaks away from half back and a long kick towards the centre of the ground. Mark Buckley too slow to get there. Miles was the player with the hand pass over the top. Connell, the short one towards centre half forward. Mark Beers has the ball fisted away there. That was by Hartney. Now it's Kennedy on the left foot out wide towards the half back line, and Shane Robertson. They've got the loose man in Mark Buckley. Now he loves to play on Mark Buckley, and he gets away too easily. Goes for the left foot pass. I'm looking up there for Ralph. He gets bundled out of the way. It's Jamie Turner. Ball smothered. Back it comes to Carl Herbert, who's been a very quiet player. Now it's Mark Lawson. Goes for the booming kick down towards the forward line. The Carlton defenders have been too strong. This is Mark Williams punching at 30 metres towards the boundary line, over the line and out of bounds. And Collingwood have not got anything going for them at the moment.
No. You've got to look at the scoreboard to realise that. 25 plays 106. Here's the throw-in. We can't seem to crack it for a close reserves game in these finals. They've all been pretty clear-cut to date, haven't they?
I'll tell you how strong the Carlton side is. Oges on the bench, 49. He kicked 8 goals a couple of weeks ago for the reserves. Admittedly, he was on the receiving end of most of those, as Don Scott reminded us.
And I'll tell you another one, Ian Muller, who played senior football in sensational style in the one of the night finals.
Is he just come on?
Yes.
Right, well, this is Jamie Turner with the football at the moment. Goes for the short one, down towards the pocket. The mark, no, not taken down there by Honeybun. Mark Lawson's battled hard for the Magpies. Onto the left foot, up towards Woodall, who flies over the back of the pack as a chance for Mark Beers. He knocks the ball on, now swings onto the left foot, hooks it back at the goals. That's a great attempt to goal by Mark Beers, and he's put it through.
So Collingwood have broken the drought. Their first goal since the second term.
We see it here on replay. Beers follows up from that contest in the goal square. Here's another player similar to Honeybun, who started the year well and just hasn't gone on with it. And he is a player, if he can apply himself, build himself up a little bit over the summer months, could be an extremely good player for Collingwood next year.
So we're back in the middle after Collingwood have scored their first goal for what, Pete?
Well, the 18-minute mark of the second quarter. It was the last time they'd scored a goal. So we've been playing 8 minutes into this final quarter, so that's a long, long time.
And they trail by 11 goals 9 at the moment. Still virtually in the middle. Scott Howell. Well, McLean went up 20 minutes too early. Lawson takes it with a hurried kick down towards Dixon. Out comes the handball to Peter Rode. Across to Nixon wider to Shane Robertson to the half-forward line. Will the Blues reply? Rode followed it down for yet another kick. Here comes for Tui, so look out. Oh, he twists and turns, and the big fella does it well. Well, he hasn't had the most memorable day, least of all that handball, but look at that, the commitment. And the second boy, Ricky Nixon's going to receive a free kick for a tackle too high.
That was fantastic. Mackenzie kept his eye on the ball. Oh, we just missed it. McLean was going to go line him up, and both played. No, that's tremendous stuff. You know, they just, both of them kept their eye on the ball. That's what people come to see.
There's Peter Dean. Out towards Graham. Andrew Graham to Ralph. No mark. He's been well covered, in fact, by Scott Knight, who's done a fair job on Warren Ralph. Kicked off the ground by Sandy Hislop. And once again, things aren't going right. And there's the wry grin on the face of Sandy Hislop.
Going to leave the ground is David Honeybun of Carlton. He's injured. Smith goes in short and finds Shane Robertson. Looks that Honeybun's favouring one leg.
Oh, he hasn't got that big thigh bandage on today. He's obviously had a hamstring strain, I think.
Well, here's Ogier coming onto the ground, and this is Shane Robertson shooting for goal. As we saw Ogier kick 8 or 9, so they've got plenty of firepower. Robertson down towards full forward. Who's waiting down? There are 3 Collingwood and 1 Carlton as Miles comes streaming away. Goes out towards the half-back line where Mickelson is lurking. Picks it up now. Steadies. Just chips one short in towards the centre, but Neil Gagan intercepts to take the mark. Long handball in towards the centre. There's big Warren McKenzie. Passes to the half-forward line. He was looking for Shane Robertson, but Kelly intercepted to take the mark. Plays straight on with the handball across to Herbert, who goes long down towards the half-forward line. Chancing his arm well was Williams, who pushes it down to Gagan again, and again the Blues are out of trouble.
Gagan was looking out there for Graham. Oh, Hunt comes out and kicks it off the ground, straight to the boundary line, though. No one there, and the ball just rolls over the line and out of bounds. And there's young Glenn Hunt, number 63.
He's definitely come on this year, Peter, as far as in the finals are concerned, because he lined up on the bench, and when he got his opportunity, he made the most of it, and had his played in the past 2 finals games.
Mackenzie to Gagan. That was a beautiful tap out as Gagan on the left foot looks up for Mick Kennedy. He flies in front of Neil Connell. Oh, that was great play by Kennedy as he hooks it back towards half forward. Darren O'Jay's just come on the ground. Couldn't take the mark, though, as McLean gets it to Miles. Miles hooks it back towards centre wing and sitting there and waiting for the ball. Number 60 there for Collingwood is Rowan Mickelson, who's only 17 years of age, only a young boy playing in a final at Waverley. And there's a man who's about 34 years of age, Jeffrey Southby. Gets it across there to Nixon. Nixon kicks it towards the centre of the ground. A free kick, said the umpire, going to Sandy Hislop.
This player could be a player of the future.
Hislop to half forward, Scott Howell again. Casually as you like, across to Southby, to Nixon. Took his eye off it for a moment because I think you could see Shane Robertson going past and was set to flick out the handball to him. So Dixon comes in for Collingwood. Pressurised by, applied by Scott Howell. Southby again, just the experience. Back to Howell. He's got Road there if he needs him, but he says, I'll take the kick. Perhaps he could have gone for the handball because the bounce is certainly going to favour Jamie Turner. He swings it back into half forward. Lawson is there on his own. Thought about it, now does it. Across to Miles. The Collingwood skipper would not be a happy man at the moment. Firing towards goal, looking up at the scoreboard. And the mark not being paid. Play on as the call. A hurried snap at goal going across the face of goal. And one behind only. So they're doing it in ones. 4-8 to Carlton's 15-16.
I think that was Carl Herbert having a shot at goal. He should have put that one through. In fact, he probably shouldn't have played. There's Jeffrey Southby towards the half-back line. Hartney was there. Warren McKenzie also. Hand pass comes to Beers. Beers lines up the goal, stabs at the goals, and what's Mark Beers done with this one? He's put it through for only a behind.
I think Stephen Phillips has got some news, Pete. We might just pop down to him now.
Thanks, Sandy. I just had a talk to VFL Park manager Gary Clayton. He says the boundary line hasn't been moved in, and the other news is that the car park is in tip-top condition. There are no bottlenecks at the moment. Traffic's moving very well, and any news to the contrary is quite false.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Jeff Southby in a quandary here at the moment. Where will I go, he says. He says, I'll just give it to myself and then go long. It's exactly what he does. Now, he's got Howell in front. Nixon is there to lend support. Gets the handball across to Gagan. A wide sweeping hand pass finds Kennedy. Robertson back to Howell. Short. Peter Rowe. On he goes. A delightful handball to Mick Kennedy. Kennedy passes to Dean. They're almost toying with him, but that was a bad handball. He's going to follow it up, however. Alvin lends him assistance. Now here's Ian Muller just on the ground. Puts out the pass to Ogier. Here's another fresh man on the ground, and that's a goal. Well, that's how easy it is with their teamwork. 16-16, 112 to Collingwood 4-9. Just while we have that 16-16 in the under-19s, Richmond defeated Melbourne 16-16 to 7-8.
Well, Carlton can do no wrong. Dean butted up well then. Cross to Muller, and Ogier, who's just come on, kicks his first goal.
There's Fatuia Tata on screen too with Darren Ogier. 16-16 Carlton. Collingwood 4-9 as we see McLean getting the hit out, looking for Mark Lawson. Peter Rowe has played a very dominant game. Back to Neil Gagan. Gagan on the left foot towards centre wing. Ian Muller. Muller across to Nixon. Oh, this is good team play to Dean. Back to Nixon. Nixon kicks it up towards Ralph. It's bouncing. It might bounce through. Just the wrong side of the post and through for a behind. But Nixon, he's been a good player, Don, since he came on.
I'm glad you brought that up, Peter, because I thought he's played extremely well. He just came on, for Phil Mail and partway through the second quarter, and he's done extremely well.
There he is. And just about brought it down. Alvin goes into lend support. Knight brings the handball away to Lawson, who runs his full distance, then kicks in towards the centre. Oh, courage shown there, coming in from the side. And no mark is going to be paid. Brendan Hartney is there. Carl Herbert, and that's the boy that came in from the side. Could be Tony Kelly. He's okay.
I don't think you get a more honest footballer than Brendan Hartney.
No, you're not wrong.
Here's the bounce. Dixon's short kick gathers little distance, and then he applies pressure on Robertson and gets the free kick, holding the ball. So Dixon's kick up towards the forward zone once again. Southby just taps it over the back. Here's an opportunity for the Woods. Can they do something here? They're surrounded. Woodhall loves to try and chip it forward, then goes over the top. And another bounce to take place. Dale Woodhall has had a pretty quiet day. His opportunities have been few and far between, and he has snared a couple of goals. Where's the number 2 Guernsey for Collingwood? Howell goes wide over the line, and another throw in to take place. In the 17th minute of this final term, well, there's a very big Collingwood contingent amongst this 70,000 strong crowd, but they are dead quiet at the moment because Carlton have handed them out a good old-fashioned thrashing. Nixon again.
Not a bad interchange player, Nixon. This bloke's been nearly best man on the ground, Road. This is Robertson. Shane Robertson. Oh, low trajectory pass. Or Ralph couldn't take the mark. It was a beautiful pass. Peter Dean got terrific skills. Gets it towards half forward and Ogier. Here's a chance for Muller. He gets ridden into the ground. Play on, said the umpire. Fatuia Tata. Well done for Tui as he runs across the face of goal. Now, how far will he run? He's got 50 metres if he wants it. He runs to half-back. Lovely hand pass to Lawson. Lawson towards centre half forward. A beautiful lead has been made. Oh, an easy mark is dropped up there by Dan Siao. Goes for the hand pass back to Carl Herbert. He kicks it very high. A one-out duel down there. Mark Williams is there against Dale Woodhall. Williams, holding the man. It had to be holding the man. And the umpire says, now play on. He did pay the free kick as Mark Williams runs away with the football. Out wide he goes towards Mick Kennedy. The ball bounces just before the line and beats all the players over the line out of bounds. 4-9-33 Collingwood. Carlton 16-17, 113.
Should be an interesting final next week anyway between Melbourne and Carlton.
Great game. Melbourne have got almost a senior side in their reserves.
Well, this Carlton one's not far off it either, is it?
Well, we watched them last week, Sandy, and Carlton started extremely well. The first 15 minutes of the first quarter, they dominated play, but never got back into the game. Melbourne completely eclipsed them.
But don't forget they had all their big guns playing in the senior side too.
There's Mark Williams dropping a sitter. He's in front of goal. He thought he might run it over for a point there, but he plays on out towards the half-back line. The ball's thumped away over the line and out of bounds. We've been playing in this final quarter 18 minutes, and there's Jeffrey Southby. Well, the big question mark, will he saddle up again next year? There's McKenzie, who has been moved away from the forward line, and apparently they thought double figures might have been too much for young Warren. He's gone to the back line doing a bit of work now. Mike Smith to half back. The short pass was Dean to Tommy Alvin. Dean runs through again to back up. Alvin, left foot to Darren OJ. Took that one to a good diving mark. He's swinging around from Fatui. He's a funny man, Fatui. He's enthusiastic, isn't he? He hasn't had a good day today.
The best of days today.
Well, there's Darren OJ, who kicked 8 goals a couple of weeks ago here on this very ground. Now, let's see what he does with this one. Just a little bit too far out, I would think. Oh, almost there. Scott Knight. Oh, it's in the goal square. That's dangerous players. We see Neil Connell, though, come away with the football towards the half-back line. Oju's there. Now it's Jamie Turner. Gets in the hand pass towards the half-back line, and Glenn Hunt. Hunt looks there, further afield there, towards number 44 for Collingwood and Carl Herbert. He kicks to centre wing. Oh, Hunt, he's a strong player. Gets bumped over, gets straight up, goes for the hand pass towards Gagan, and Gagan fires one down towards the half-forward line where Hunt drops the mark.
Recovers, however. Picks it up now, goes onto the left foot. Smith is waiting in the middle, and he takes it for Carlton. Back to Peter Road. Little too slow to get his kick on that occasion. Goes to ground. There's the opportunity. Gets the handball away. Knight's hurried kick goes back in towards the centre. Hartney again. Like the Rock of Gibraltar. Steadies. Puts it out in towards the pocket. Only Malcolm and Fatui are there. And Shane Malcolm picks it up. Goes back towards the wing, where Henry Lawson takes a good
I don't think I could pick a winner for Collingwood. I stand to be corrected, but I just went through each of the players who they've lined up on, and I cannot see one Collingwood player that's beaten his opponent.
No, they've had some good tries. Mark Lawson on screen has played 11 games for the seniors. And, well, he first started in 1982, so he was actually told that he was not guaranteed of a senior game, so he was virtually given an open clearance during the year. Here's Peter Road. He's been outstanding form today. One of the best men on the ground, if not the best. Don Scott, of course, will be the man awarding $100 towards the end of the game. Alvin gets it up. He was looking for Nixon. Here comes Fatui from the half-back line. He's like a galloping racehorse up towards the half-forward line. The mark is taken by Danny Siao. Now, this will be 15 metres, a professional 15 metres given away by Brendan Hartney. Siao doesn't worry about the 15. He looks up there for Beers. Jeffrey Southby ridden into the ground. Play on now, said the umpire. Road was there. He's got the ball on a string. Over to Hartney. Hartney goes for the short one. Up there to Ricky Nixon. Coming through is Sandy Hislop. He goes for the long hand pass to Russell Dixon. 2 young players combining there. Dixon a short one towards the boundary line where Dale Woodall takes the mark. And Dale hasn't seen much of the football today.
Has kicked 2 goals, Pete, but that's just about all, I'm afraid. He's going to run round the man on the mark here. Onto the left foot he goes, snaring it in towards full forward. And the mark is taken there. Herbert? We'll wait and see.
I think it's Mickelson.
Around number... Yes, you're quite right. Rowan Mickelson, just an 18-year-old from Preston RSL. Came across Collingwood in 83, fires and goals, and Collingwood post their 5th. 5-9 to 16-17.
Well, it was a good centre by Woodall, and he ran around the man on the mark, and being on his left foot, which was his wrong foot, he pulled the ball back into the centre, and Mickelson, who was in front of his man. And when a player does that, centre the ball, you always seem to have the drop on your opponent. And Mickelson ran into that hole, and he was rewarded by a goal and a mark.
A very decisive performance, this by Carlton. 16-17, 113 to Collingwood 5-9-39. We've been playing 22 and a half minutes in this last quarter as we see Carl Herbert kick it down towards full forward. Dale Woodall ducks back, goes after it. Towards the forward pocket goes Dale. Normally a good snap kick for goal. He's still got it on the left foot. Back it comes towards Mickelson. Charges out. Oh, no, it's not Mickelson. In fact, it's his teammate there in Miller. And he copped one high. And young Miller is only 15 metres out, almost directly in front.
2 minutes away from entering time on. Here it is again.
Ooh.
Yes, Neil Gagan just going a smidgen too high.
Gary Miller. He's only another young player, an 18-year-old. Came across from Heidelberg and he pops that one through for a goal.
Well, that's Miller's first goal. He doesn't look the tidiest of players with his hair waving in the breeze, but his socks down makes him look worse. But he kept his eye on the ball then. We'll see it on replay here as Gagan came through. Really had not much option, Gagan, and the umpire awarded the free. Miller got up unscathed and kicked his first goal.
Well, the beauty of the Collingwood side is the fact that they are blooding young players during this year. They've stuck to those under-19 players and giving them opportunities.
We commentated the game last year, the grand final, Peter, and Collingwood won the grand final. How many of those players actually played? Tony Kelly was the only one, I think, in that grand final that's still playing. Maybe Miles. Well, he was the senior player, I think, at that stage.
Well, that's Connell getting the ball down. I agree with you. They are blooding young players. They've got to do that for the future. As Collins gets it down there, looking for Woodall, the ball bounces back into the play. It's thumped away hard. Making out he's disappointed. Went out of bounds. He's deep down. He would be absolutely delighted to see that ball, like all defenders. There he is, Brendan. He's been a terrific player today. Hartney in defence. He and Southby and Scott Howe, they've been magnificent. They've just put too much pressure. There's the player I'm talking about too. Southby up towards half forward, half back for Carlton, I should say, where the mark has been taken by Malcolm. Shane Malcolm's had a fairly quiet day, as I'm sure Don will be thinking about the $100 for today as Woodall picks it up, snaps at the goals. Dale Woodall, and I think he might have put it through. He has for his third.
So Dale continues to hang in there for Collingwood's 7th, 7-9-51, but it's all over bar the shouting and has been for some time, Don.
That young Malcolm, I think I'd play him on the ball a little more. He's been played up forward, up back, but I think I would persevere. He's a big fellow. He came down as a ruckman, and that's where he should be playing. And I'd leave him on the ball because ruckmen have got to get experience, and you can't do it when you are in one of the positions.
70,000 people in this stadium at the moment anticipating the great game this afternoon. Can the Bombers mentally bounce back, or will Collingwood delight the Army and march into yet another grand final? Robertson from the centre to put Carlton down towards their half-forward line. Ogier and Muller, the two fresh boys on the ground, and Ian Muller says, I'll take it. He cops one too high, and the umpire misses it, and another bounce.
Although he did duck the head there, so I think that's why the umpire called play on. Peter Road has had 22 kicks and 11 hand passes.
33
not a bad day's work.
There's the bounce again. Muller goes for it on a couple of occasions. They've got players everywhere. Tommy Alvin gives the lead, and it's accepted. So he'll kick down in towards the forward zone because Ralph's in there saying kick it long and kick it high. Well, if he does it quickly, it'll be a one-out duel, but I think Tommy thinks he can make the distance. The Bairnsdale bullet.
Well, I'd like to back against him.
There's the kick from Alvin. And Fatui is there.
Oh, Mackenzie nearly took that.
Herbert, here's one for Ogier. No, goes to ground. The umpire calls play on. A Tata in there. And the umpire will have a bounce.
Yeah, well, that was nearly a mark there to Mackenzie. He's got a great pair of hands. He kicked 6 goals in the first half. There he is on left of screen, Warren Mackenzie, going in to do the ruck work against Shane Malcolm. Malcolm, number 50 there for Collingwood, gets it out too. But here's Darren Ogier picking it up, snapping at the goals. Won't quite make the distance. And Fatui Atata just knocks it through for a behind. And he's lost his boot. There he is, Fatui, and, well, I think he's got potential.
Yeah, great mover.
He's got some potential.
Great agility for a big man. Knight brings the ball back into play. Kenny went up a little early. Peter Road goes in again, tucks it under his arm, and another throw. Yes, Fatui's only 19 years old and played 15 reserves games this year. Was second in their best and fairest in 1982. So
that was in the under-19s. That best second in the best and fairest.
Should be a pretty bright future for Fatui Atata.
You love saying that name, don't you, Sandy?
Well, it's different. Here's the throw in. I'm sure Collingwood fans will be hoping to hear it a lot in future years, particularly in the course of a game. Here's the opportunity now for Ralph. Another one. Yes. And so Warren Ralph has posted his 3rd goal. A relatively quiet day up forward for him.
Well, actually,
Started off very well, didn't he, Peter?
With 2 quick goals.
well, full marks to Scott Knight, because although he hasn't had a lot of kicks himself, he has stuck with Ralph right throughout the day, and there's the replay of this one. As
But also
Muller.
Ralph has worked very hard when he hasn't had the ball, and Muller, who's just come on, very quick with his hands as he's diving down onto the ball, shot it across to Ralph, and Ralph goal. But he has worked creditably when they haven't had the ball, when he hasn't had the ball.
Yes, he certainly has.
Here's the centre bounce once again. 7-9 to 17-18. Scott Howell in ruck. Malcolm gives the handball away to Lawson. Dummies the handball and puts it out in front of Dale Woodhall. With him is Mark Williams. He's worn him like a glove for the bulk of the day. Over the line it goes, and another throw-in.
Although Woodhall's kicked a couple of goals, 3 goals in fact, I thought Mark Williams has been a very, very good player.
He has been an excellent player, Williams. And you can see him even there at this late stage of the game concentrating on knowing where his opponent is, and that's a sign of a good backman.
Dixon in trouble. Hartney gets it out. Nixon to centre wing. Ogier went storming through. You can bet your life Muller will be there with him. And they decide upon a bounce at centre wing. Very close to siren time. We're in the 30th minute. And, well, the season's ended just in time by the looks for